Hello and welcome to CNET's live coverage of CES 2016, the Consumer Electronics Show. We're coming to you live from the CNET stage in the South Hall of the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm Bridget Carey.
And I'm Jeff Bakalar, and every morning this week, we're here with the Inside Scoop, where we sift through some of the more interesting announcements and news stories that will hopefully help you see through the hype happening here at CES. So today is the official start of CES. The doors have opened, and thousands of attendees are flooding the show floor.
Yeah, last year's attendance locked in at around 170,000 people, and we're expecting similar numbers this year. So let's get started with the big news today. Now, one of the stories making headlines this morning is news that broke, well, it's not on the show floor, but it was a follow-up to something that we first reported on earlier this week.
That's right. This morning, Oculus Rift pre-orders went live. And to my surprise, it's only $600. And I say only because I was getting ready to spend $1,000 on a new Oculus Rift.
There's a lot of hype for a long time on this product.
Absolutely. A lot of speculation about how much it would cost. Again, I thought I'd have to, refinance my mortgage. But no, it's only going to be $600. You are, though, and there's a huge caveat here, you are going to have a pretty powerful gaming PC to run that kind of hardware.
So yeah, $600 is just the headset.
That's just the headset, the
controller.
Xbox controller, and that sort of apparatus. You do need a pretty powerful PC to run that, to be able to run the Oculus as well. So I guess all in, you're maybe looking at $1,000 when it comes down to it, probably a little more than that. But that's what we're dealing with when it comes to pre-orders. So I'm like basically at the checkout screen. So if you want to click it, let's click it. Let's jump in together.
Let's jump into the Rift.
Yeah.
VR, we expected it to be a big topic at the show.
Sure.
Right now, so far, as press, we got an early look at the HTC Vive Pre, which is the updated version of HTC's version of this. And the little extra thing that makes it stand out is the fact that it helps you basically not trip over your own furniture.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So some of the big sort of criticism about the Vive is that, well, it's going to have me sort of moving around a space that there could be furniture in and other obstacles that I can easily trip over when I'm wearing a huge mask on my eyes.
Right.
So they're sort of introducing a parameter that will prevent you from falling over yourself. But I think
it's a little camera that actually looks out into the
Right.
room. It knows that you're there, and you can actually see things on your phone. This isn't just shadows. You can actually make out details of what's in front of you.
Stuff. I kind of like how every VR sort of product out there, and I guess the Vive is maybe the most sort of practical, realistic competitor to what Oculus is doing. But it's kind of cool that they each have their own sort of gimmick. I hate to say gimmick, but you have to right now with sort of where VR's at. But I think the Vive is really the one product that's going to give the Rift sort of a run for its money. And we'll have to sort of see how that shakes out.
Yeah, that's supposed to come out in the spring sometime.
Yeah.
But
So we don't know too much about that, none of those real specific concrete details. But we've played around with the Vive. Our editors have gotten a chance to try that out. And I think everyone's pretty sold on the technology. So I'm glad to know that jumping into VR, you've got PlayStation well, now it's PlayStation VR. I'm still stuck calling it Morpheus.
The old name, yeah.
You've got like 3 kind of heavy hitters that are all jumping in this year. So it'll be interesting to see where the dust settles and where people tend to migrate. I think that Oculus Rift coming in at $600 is a big surprise.
Yeah.
A pleasant surprise. So definitely psyched for the fact that people will be able to afford it. Some people.
And I'm curious what else we're going to see on the show floor now that it's open when it comes to VR. I mean, so far we're seeing things about the experience around you, not necessarily the tech of the goggles themselves.
Right.
But there was this thing we saw at a preview event at night called the Immerse Sit, as in sit your butt down on this chair.
Nothing like immersive sitting.
that is moving and jumping up and down.
Sort of like a Disney World attraction.
Ride the movies, as they say at Universal.
So
we have a first look from Sarah who got to check it out.
And it's kind of interesting because I think they give you the option to sort of put it on when there's a moment of sort of like acceleration where you can say like, okay, now I'd want to experience that right up
This is the kind of
You
stuff
know.
you had to go to an arcade and pay like $5 or $10 for and sit down. I made a roller coaster, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something that I could really bring in my apartment. I feel like my downstairs neighbor might be upset. Be like, oh, you can't be doing that here.
Well, there's some more practical stuff we saw last night from Intel.
Sure.
They had this smart helmet. Now, think back to what Microsoft did with its HoloLens, and Intel showed off something that was practical for the workplace, right? It's called the daiquiri. I don't know if it's as tasty as a daiquiri.
No, it's not. So Daiquiri is the name of the company, and they're using Intel's M7 chip and technology called RealSense to sort of give you an augmented reality experience with a hard hat design. So you sort of look like, almost like a stormtrooper in a weird way. And what it's going to allow people to do is sort of use industrial sort of workplace, work site applications. The demo they showed was someone wearing this hard hat helmet contraption and sort of being able to see through a bunch of pipes and which pipe was defective.
That's
schematics
exactly
and
what
stuff
makes
like
the
that.
most sense for things like the HoloLens
Yeah.
too. I mean, if I'm trying to fix something at home and I have no idea how to fix it, I want to be able to see in front of me some instructions, and that's why this makes sense for a workplace
Right.
or someone who's just trying to get the layout, like a blueprint of something in front of them, and overlay it on the wall that that they're standing in front of.
And it's a great tech demo. I think it blew a lot of people away last night. But at the same time, it's like, okay, that's great technology, but people have to develop for that, and people have to sort of, take a step back and say, okay, this is amazing technology, but how do we use it in a way that's universal for a lot of people? I could see this being a more proprietary situation where you're sort of going to have to go on a case-by-case basis. Regardless, this daiquiri smart helmet, it's available now. It's shipping today.
And we're going to see it on the
And
stage
we're gonna
actually
see
later
it
today.
Later today on Tomorrow Daily. So that's going to be great. At 1 o'clock here at the CNET stage. So pretty psyched about that. Going to stick around and see if I can get my hands on one.
Another late breaking news came from VW.
Yes.
Volkswagen. They had a bus concept car called the Buddy. I enjoy when tech has a cute little name.
Yeah.
But this was different. We saw some earlier concept car tech a few days ago that was pretty extreme, looked like a Batmobile. Here's a concept car that might be more practical though. And we have some video now of the presentation from the other night.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you said, we're usually used to these flashy, sporty sort of cars, but no. This is a car for real people, right? For maybe people who need that kind of, I don't want to say minivan situation, but yeah, this is probably where that fits. It's, like you said, it's called the Buddy, BUDD-E, and it just has a lot of like practical technology built into it. And they're saying, well, hey, by 2019, we anticipate a car battery like this to be able to charge 80% in about 15 minutes, which
That sounds
is
pretty
crazy.
It sounds also practical if you're going to, I don't know, make a pit stop at the grocery store or something really quick.
Yeah.
We want it to do 15 minutes. I mean, that would be convenient if they had things
Absolutely,
like that.
a rapid charge situation, like
Yeah.
kind of what we have with some phones now. They take away all the mirrors for cameras, which is pretty impressive. And you can kind of see like who's getting into the car with a series of mirrors. We're actually going to get to see this later today, which is pretty rad. Around 12:30,
We're gonna have a
live
live
shot
shot,
with
yeah.
Buddy. And I don't know, this is the kind of car that I just want to maybe give a hug to.
It's a Buddy.
It's a Buddy. It's a cute little car. So yeah, like I said, it's definitely a fresh change of pace. Really awesome to see something where it's not this over-the-top Bruce Wayne only sort of invention.
Yeah, a concept car that you might go, all right.